Hey guys, and welcome back to the J2 channel. And today we must talk about my beloved Chelsea Football Club. As you can see in the title and as you can see in the thumbnail, this is a video that's going to be strictly dedicated to Victor Osimhen. I might talk about the Servette game later on and Maresca's comments around the game and players and stuff like that. But in today's video, it's strictly about Victor Osimhen. We must talk about Victor Osimhen. If you've been seeing my other videos, I've been saying his name here and there in certain moments, but today we must dedicate a whole video to him because there's things I've got to say about this situation, this whole saga, this whole potential transfer, and whether it's going to happen or not. Because I think there's a lot of things that we need to sort of clarify, and that's what we're here to do in today's video. So if you do enjoy the video, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications, and yeah, let's just get straight into it. If you don't know who Victor Osimhen is, he's a Nigerian striker, 25 years old. Last season, he made 25 appearances for Napoli in the league. He scored about 15 goals, 5 assists. But the biggest thing he's obviously achieved in his career and the season that made him a top striker, that put him on the map to be one of the best strikers in the world, was the previous season beforehand, where he scored 26 goals in the league as he led his team, Napoli, to their first Scudetto in 30 years. The last man to have won Napoli the Scudetto was Maradona. R.I.P. to Maradona, may so rest in peace. Since then, Napoli have been nowhere near the title. They've been close at times under Sarri and Jorginho in that era, but they just couldn't quite get it as Juventus at that time were dominating. And then once Juve stopped dominating, other teams were winning it, such as AC Milan and Inter Milan. And then Napoli, the season before last season, so we're talking about so we're in the 24-25 season now. We're talking about the 22-23 season. That's the season we're talking about, in which he scored 26 league goals, I'm pretty sure, for Napoli. And he led them to the Scudetto in brilliant fashion. He was the man. He was that guy. He was probably the best striker that season. Actually, no, he wasn't. It was Erling Haaland, definitely. My bad, because he scored like 52 goals or something, which is crazy. But Osimhen was definitely one of the best strikers in the world, and he put himself in a position where, yeah, everyone knows he's top now. Everybody knows, yo, he's a world class striker, and if you don't think he's a world class striker, then he's getting there at least anyway. So yeah, with Victor Osimhen. Osimhen to Chelsea. This is not the first summer or the first time we've ever heard of it. We've heard in the past he's a Chelsea fan. We all know Didier Drogba has, made some calls to try and get him over to the club. We all know John Obi Mikel, who, let's just be honest, I mean, he's basically moving like he's his agent, Mikel. He's been begging Osimhen to join Chelsea publicly and probably privately for the last 12 months. Trust me, guys, this has been going on for ages, man. And it's just very funny how I mentioned that, because John Obi Mikel has been slandering, criticizing Chelsea very, very heavily over the past couple of weeks and months, and calling us a mess of a club and thinking we're going to finish 7th or below. But yeah, at the same time, he's begging Osimhen to join us. It's a bit weird. I've not been liking the way John Obi Mikel's been speaking about Chelsea in general. I don't think he's really representing us that well. Like I said in my past couple of videos, look, I know we're not the best run club, but people act like we're the worst run club in the world when we're clearly not. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get into really the real stuff now. Okay, I've given you all the other stuff about John Obi Mikel and Didier Drogba wanting to join Chelsea. Osimhen's a Chelsea fan himself, so of course naturally he's gonna want the move. And he's now a top striker. He's Nigerian international. Unfortunately, lost the AFCON earlier this year in the final to, what was it, Ivory Coast, I'm pretty sure it was. So yeah, let's get into the real stuff now. Now, I'm not surprised that this saga has gone all the way to the end of the transfer window. And for those who don't know why it's not gone all the way, for those who don't know why that's happened, why this saga has gone on for as long as it has, it's pretty simple, right? Osimhen is in a position where he doesn't have the advantage in terms of his future. Okay? Um the thing that went against him, as much as it was brilliant that he won the Scudetto with Napoli, Brilliant. Fantastic. I mean, that is, in terms of his legacy at Napoli, it's sealed forever as far as I'm concerned. He done something absolutely historic. But the bad thing that comes with that is they gave him a new contract. They gave him a ridiculous amount of money. I'm pretty sure he's on over 250 grand a week at the moment at Napoli. And he has a release clause that I'm pretty sure was worth at least 120 million euros. The problem with this is, one, no one's going to pay that because the days of clubs spending a ridiculous amount of money on one certain player, I don't think they're long gone because we've been doing it recently. But I feel like slowly but surely, due to PSR rules and FFP, clubs are now, I don't think clubs are going to be willing to spend so much money on one particular player. So I think slowly but surely, you're not going to be seeing that as much. This transfer window, you've not seen a ridiculous amount of money spent on one player. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we've seen a transfer that's been worth more than 80, 90 million euros or more. I think the only one's been Julian Alvarez, I'm pretty sure, to Atletico Madrid. Other than that, I don't think there's been a transfer as big as that in terms of financially, you know? So those were the two issues. And no clubs were going in for him this summer. You know, there was talks of PSG potentially coming in for him. But Fabrizio Romano has basically said that's not going to happen. And there was obviously talks of Chelsea coming in for him, and we are still interested in him, and it's clear that we want him. But this is where I talk about now the disadvantage. His disadvantage is his release clause was too high, so nobody was willing to pay that, meaning Napoli have to negotiate a fee significantly lower, in which I'll get to that in a minute. And on top of that, no one wants to pay Osimhen the wages that he's on. No one wants to pay him his wage demands. They don't want to. It's that simple. That's why clubs have not been coming in for him. Plus, believe it or not, clubs I guess are just not that desperate for a striker. You know, would I say Chelsea are desperate for a striker? I think we need one, a proven goal scorer. Yes, but if we wasn't to get a striker at all, would I be crying and be overly pissed off? Not really. I'd be slightly disappointed, of course. But I'm not gonna come in and say, "Oh, the club have absolutely failed," all that nonsense. No. So with Victor Osimhen, right? The issue with Chelsea and Victor at the moment is the fact that Chelsea don't want to pay Osimhen more than 250 grand a week. The reason for this is not because Osimhen's not a quality player. He is. The reason is Chelsea want their wage structure to be a lot better. Ever since these sporting directors came in, Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, they've wanted the wage structure to become better. So any transfers that came in before that, yeah, it has nothing to do with them in terms of the high wages. For example, Raheem Sterling, that was Todd Bowley. In terms of Raheem Sterling's wages, in terms of Cucurella's wages, in terms of Wesley Fofana's wages. But ever since these sporting directors have come in, the likes of Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Mikhailo Mudryk, João Felix, Pedro Neto, all these brothers that we brought in this summer, last summer, and January of last year, they're not on high wages. And Chelsea want to keep it that way, you know? And rightly so, because you don't want to be paying players so much money for them not to perform. If they perform, fine, you will get your money. Cole Palmer's a great example. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's the same with Victor Osimhen. And Victor Osimhen doesn't want to take a pay cut. He doesn't want to. Now, why doesn't he want to? I think it comes down to ego. Him and his camp, I think they're a bit arrogant. I think it comes with a bit of ego. I think the fact that they've achieved something incredible in Napoli with the Scudetto has made them think that they're like here now, you know, you get me, they should be earning the highest amount of money that they should be. As far as I'm concerned, I can absolutely understand why Chelsea don't want to pay him the amount of money that he wants, because one, it's a risk. What if he doesn't work out? Do you know how many strikers we brought in over the past 5 to 10 years that haven't worked out, and they've been paid big money and we paid big transfer fees for them? The same could easily happen to Osimhen. That's the first thing, right? Another thing is, like I said, they're trying to bring the wage structure down. They want the wage structure to be healthy. They want to pay everyone what they think is their worth at first. But Chelsea have insisted if you perform, to the level that we need you to, you will get a contract that's better. That's simple. Basically, the message is to Osimhen from Chelsea is, listen, if you want the amount of money you want, you can get that if you come here, take a pay cut, perform well, and we'll give you a pay rise. It's that simple. But Osimhen, he's confident in himself. He's like, no, I'm that guy. I can come in and perform well on these wages. Trust me, because I am him. That's what he's basically saying. And it's gone to the stage now where it's up to him now. Based on the reports we've seen today, it's up to him, bro. This is where now I get into Victor Osimhen on a personal level, right? Victor Osimhen, right? Do you care about money or do you care about legacy? Because you're a Chelsea fan, you looked up to Didier Drogba, you want the move to Chelsea, but you're not willing to take a pay cut to go to Chelsea. You're not willing to take a pay cut to go to the best league in the world, to one of the biggest clubs in the world, and prove yourself. Because as much as he's done so well at Napoli in that one season, he's actually never proven to be a fantastic goal scorer year in, year out. Despite being a top striker, he still low-key has quite a lot to not just improve, but a lot to prove to, I think, people. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, you've done well, but I don't think you've done enough in your career for you to be asking for the amount of money you're asking for. Now, I think he's a good striker. I would love Victor Osimhen at Chelsea. Absolutely. I think with the way we play, with the attackers we have, I think he would absolutely come here and smash it. I think he would smash it. But at the same time, I'm with Chelsea in terms of let's be reasonable and let's just not throw the bank at this guy. Why is that the case? Because we don't actually need him in particular. If we don't get Victor Osimhen, Chelsea can just go in and get Ivan Toney. They can go in and get John Duran if they want to. You know? And the reason why I'm saying Osimhen's at a disadvantage here is because no other club in Europe except for Chelsea wants him. The only other club that wants him is Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. They're the only other club that wants him. So he doesn't have options. If Victor Osimhen had options, I would understand his strategy. I would. And the fact that we're still in for him, the fact that we're still talking to him, makes me think, okay, maybe he's willing to compromise. Maybe he's willing to agree something. Maybe he's willing to take a pay cut, prove himself, and then eventually Chelsea would give him the wages that he deserves eventually. Right? I would understand your strategy if other clubs were in for you. If Arsenal was in for you. If PSG were in for you. Cool, I would get it. You have other options. But as my friend, it's either Saudi Arabia or it's Chelsea. Because you're not staying at Napoli as finally Lukaku's gone. Finally! Woo! Thank God Lukaku is gone. Goodness me, that brother can't stand him. So yeah, look, at the end of the day, yeah, it's up to Victor Osimhen. If you're really that stubborn and you really care about the amount of money you're making, just go to Saudi Arabia then. Go to Saudi then. You clearly don't care about your legacy in terms of how you want to be remembered. The fact that you want to potentially go to Saudi at the age of 25 years old, you're young. Why would you want to go to Saudi now? Come to Chelsea, prove yourself, and you'll get the money you want eventually. You're a young guy. This is my issue with Osimhen, right? You're going to be earning good money regardless. What is the issue with taking a pay cut? Like, you're rich anyway. You're a millionaire already. Like, it's not that deep. I'm sorry. I just don't get it. You've got to prove yourself at the end of the day. You're coming to a new league, new teammates, new system, new manager, new environment, different country. New country. All of that, bro. There's no guarantee. You're not a guaranteed hit. Even though I like him, but he's not a guaranteed hit. And this is where we get into now the transfer fee and that, yeah? The transfer fee looks like it's not going to be a problem. And based on the reports last night and the reports today, Fabrizio Romano's basically said, if Victor Osimhen agrees something with Chelsea on contract terms, he's going to be flying to London. You know what that means. That basically means, in terms of Chelsea and Napoli, they've already agreed a fee. I was saying this to somebody last night. I think Chelsea and Napoli have already agreed a fee for Osimhen. Because the fact that it's come out that Al Ahly have agreed a fee with Napoli for 65 million euros, now we know how much he's going to cost. Chelsea, 65 million euros, 70 million euros, No problem. That's not too expensive. That's not too bad. In fact, that's brilliant. You know, I've liked Osimhen. I do like Osimhen, but there's a cap to it. You know, I said personally, I wouldn't want us to get Victor Osimhen if it means we have to pay more than 80 million for him. The fact that we have to pay less than that, 70 million euros, 65 million euros potentially, for me, it's a no-brainer. So Chelsea and Napoli, that's agreed already. It's now about Chelsea and Victor Osimhen. So at the end of the day, right, Al Ali, Fabrizio Romano's reported they're coming down to Naples to try and convince Osimhen to join them instead of negotiating with Chelsea. The reason why it's gone on for this long is because at the end of the day, we want him, he wants us, but the money is the issue. And that is clear. So then the question to Osimhen is, what is it you really care about? Like I said before, do you care about making history, coming to Chelsea, being that guy, scoring loads of goals, making history, be remembered as one of the greatest strikers that Chelsea have ever had, and you can put yourself in the same bracket as a Didier Drogba and inspire the next generation, just like Didier Drogba did? Or is it money you care about, and you think, yeah, I've done enough in my career, there's nothing else I really need to do? His ego's telling him, his camp is telling him, yo, there's nothing else you have to prove. Go to Saudi then. It's up to Victor Osimhen, man. It really is up to him, bro. Chelsea, if we don't get Victor Osimhen, it's not that big of a deal. Man can go get Tony, man can get John Duran, and if we don't get a striker whatsoever, then man can just rely on another development season of Nicholas Jackson, who I'm pretty sure will get double figures in Premier League goals. And if that and obviously with that, there's João Felix who can play in the false nine as well. Do you get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, Osimhen needs Chelsea more than Chelsea need Victor Osimhen, because if we don't get him, we have other options. Osimhen, you only have Saudi Arabia. And do you want to go to Saudi Arabia at 25 years old? Really? Considering the fact as well, guys, another thing I need to point out as well, and this is massive. A couple months ago, Kvaratskhelia, I'm pretty sure his name, Kvaratskhelia, Georgian. He's from Georgia. He's left wing. He was also part of the historic season that Napoli had, in which they won the Scudetto. He was absolutely brilliant that season. His agent came out January of this year and basically said Victor Osimhen is going to go to Saudi Arabia. Basically saying, yo, Victor Osimhen is going to Saudi Arabia. That's his future. That's his next move. And Osimhen was fuming. The guy came out publicly, I think in an Instagram live, yeah, and he was fuming. He was so pissed, telling them, you don't know my future. What are you talking about? Like basically saying, what are you talking about? You're just chatting rubbish. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what I want. You have no idea, what I want to do in my career and stuff like that. So it's like, brother, okay, you were calling him out publicly and you're debunking his statement that you're going to Saudi Arabia in the summer. Well, here we are now. We're in the summer. Are you going to prove him right and go to Saudi and make yourself look like a mug? Because at the end of the day, if he goes to Saudi, he looks like a mug. You can't just cuss someone out for stating the truth if he goes to Saudi anyway. That's another thing, guys. So look, Victor, it's up to you, brother. Either come to Chelsea on our terms, on our demands, or Saudi Arabia is there and you can earn 30 million a season and live your life and don't care about what you want to achieve. Do you know what I mean? It's just that simple for me. So yeah, that's that on Victor Osimhen. Quickly on tomorrow's game, I saw bits and pieces of Enzo Maresca's press conference. He said the pitch is not good. He said Malo and Malo and Pedro Neto will not be available for tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. He also talked about the fact that the likes of Sterling and Trevor Chalobah and players that have been exiled from the squad, if they still don't manage to leave Chelsea this summer and they're still Chelsea players by the end of it, then that does not mean they're going to be integrated back to the squad. So if Sterling somehow does stay, if Chalobah does stay, if Ben Chilwell does stay, if these guys stay, Armando Broja, if these guys can't find a club by basically Friday, tough, because Maresca's not going to implement you back into the squad. You're still going to be training on your own or with the youth team or with the under-21s, under-23s, whoever. It is what it is. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow we get the win against Servette. Tell me your thoughts down below on Victor Osimhen, man, because it's been a crazy, crazy saga all year round. And at the end of the day, it's up to him. Victor Osimhen, what do you want to do? How do you want to be remembered? That's how I can only end it. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, turn on those post notifications, and I'll see you guys whenever I see you guys. Peace.